The human was not meant to survive on this world. That was what the alien tribe believed. He lived at the edge of their land where the red grass grew thin and the wind never rested. His shelter was small, built from broken metal and stone. The tribe called him the Weak One, a useless human left behind after a failed trade mission. No clan wanted him. No leader trusted him, but the human stayed alive. He hunted with patience, not strength. He watched the land, learned its dangers, and never wasted food. While the aliens mocked him, he endured, quietly, one cold cycle. While searching for water near the black rocks, he heard a sound. A soft cry. It was weak, painful, almost gone. The human followed the sound into a narrow crack in the ground. There, hidden in the shadows, he found a tiny creature. It was no bigger than his 2 hands. Its skin was dark and rough, marked with strange lines that faintly glowed. One of its legs was broken. Its breathing was slow. The human froze. He knew this species. Every being on the planet did. It was a Kreeth. A predator so feared that even the strongest alien warriors avoided it. Fully grown, a Kreeth could tear armored beasts apart. The tribe believed killing them at birth was the only way to survive. This one had been left to die. The human could see the signs. Claw marks around the crack, blood on the stone. The tribe had hunted the nest and destroyed it. This last one had crawled away, wounded and forgotten. The smart choice was to walk away. The safe choice was to kill it. The human did neither. He slowly removed his coat and wrapped the creature in it. The Kreeth opened its eyes, bright, sharp, filled with fear and anger. It tried to bite, but it was too weak. "It's okay," the human whispered, though he knew it could not understand. "I won't hurt you." The creature stopped struggling. That night, the human hid the Kreeth inside his shelter. He cleaned its wound and used heat stones to keep it warm. He fed it small pieces of meat, cutting them carefully so it could eat. Outside, the wind howled. Days passed. The creature lived, and it grew. Too fast. Within 1 week, it doubled in size. Its broken leg healed at an impossible speed. Its eyes followed the human everywhere. It did not attack him. It did not fear him either. It watched. The human named it Ash because of the color of its skin. Unknown to him, eyes were watching as well. High above the shelter, hidden among the rocks, alien scouts observed everything. They saw the human feeding a Kreeth. They felt fear ripple through them. "This is forbidden," one scout hissed. "He is raising death," another said. Word spread quickly through the tribe. By the time the sun dipped low, the elders were already meeting. "A human has bonded with a Kreeth," a scout reported. "If it grows, it will obey him." The elders went silent. Only one voice broke the stillness. The princess. She stood, tall, her silver armor glowing softly in the firelight. Her eyes were sharp, trained for command. "Are you certain?" she asked. "Yes," the scout replied. "The creature follows him. It listens." That was impossible. Kreeths obeyed. "No one." The princess clenched her fist. "Prepare the hunters," she said. "If this is true, the balance of the tribe is in danger." Back at the shelter, the human sat near the fire. Ash lay beside him, breathing slowly. Its body was already stronger, its claws sharper. When the human reached out, the creature leaned closer instead of striking. Outside, a shadow moved. Ash lifted its head, its ears twitched. A low sound came from its throat. The human felt it too. They were not alone. Far away, the princess watched the distant glow of the human's fire from a high ridge. She did not know why, but something felt wrong. Not the creature, the human. He should have been dead long ago. Instead, he was changing fate. And this was only the beginning. The human woke before dawn. Ash was already awake. The creature stood at the entrance of the shelter, its body low, muscles tense. Its eyes glowed softly in the dark, fixed on the open land beyond the rocks. It was no longer small. In just a few days, its frame had grown longer, stronger, heavier. Its claws scratched the stone without effort. Something was wrong. The human reached for his knife, not to fight, but from habit. He trusted Ash, but the world outside could never be trusted. A sound echoed across the plain. Footsteps. Many of them. Ash let out a low growl, not loud, not wild, controlled. The human slowly stepped beside the creature. He placed a hand on Ash's neck. The skin was warm, alive with power. Ash did not pull away. Instead, it leaned slightly toward him. Easy, the human whispered. From behind the rocks, the first alien scout appeared. Tall, armored, eyes wide with fear. More followed, forming a half circle around the shelter. Their weapons were raised, but none of them fired. They had expected a monster. They had not expected obedience. The rumors were true. One scout muttered, "It stands beside him." Ash took one step forward. The scouts flinched. The human raised his empty hands slowly. He did not run. He did not speak. He knew any sudden move could mean death. "This ends now," the lead scout said. "That creature must be destroyed." Ash's growl deepened. The human felt it, not anger, but warning. Suddenly, a loud screech cut through the air. From the cliffs above, a wild Gravix beast leaped down. It was massive, armored, and starving. The scouts shouted in panic. One of them stumbled. Another dropped his weapon. The Gravix charged. The human had no time to react. Ash did. In the blur of motion, Ash lunged forward. Its body moved faster than the eye could follow. It slammed into the Gravix, claws slicing through thick armor like thin cloth. The beast roared once, then fell silent. The entire fight lasted seconds. Blood soaked into the red grass. Ash stood over the dead predator, breathing slow and steady. Then it turned back to the human and sat down calmly, as if nothing had happened. The scouts were frozen. That Gravix had killed full hunting parties before, and this creature had ended it effortlessly. By the stars, one scout whispered. The human stared as well. He had known Ash was dangerous. He had not known it was already this powerful. The lead scout slowly lowered his weapon. "We must report this," he said. Immediately, they retreated, never turning their backs on Ash. High above, hidden behind a ridge, the princess had seen everything. Her breath was steady, but her mind was not. That was no normal Kraeth. And no normal human. Back at the shelter, the human cleaned Ash's claws. He said nothing. Ash allowed it without resistance. Its eyes never left him. That night, the tribe gathered again. The creature killed a Gravix alone, the scout reported. It obeys the human completely. The elders argued loudly. This cannot be allowed. If the human commands that beast, we lose control. The Kraeth is a weapon. The princess listened in silence. Finally she spoke. "Send warriors," she said. "Not scouts, not hunters. I will go as well." The room fell silent. "You?" an elder asked. "Yes," she replied calmly. "I need to see this human with my own eyes." The next cycle, elite warriors moved through the land like shadows. They surrounded the shelter at night. Inside, the human sat awake. Ash was restless. Its tail struck the ground softly. It could feel them. The human stood and placed his hand on Ash's head. "No killing," he whispered. Ash's ears twitched. Outside, a warrior stepped forward. "Human," the voice called. "Come out." The human stepped into the moonlight slowly. From the darkness, the princess emerged. Tall, calm, dangerous. Her eyes met his. For the first time, the human felt something he had not felt in years. Not fear, but destiny. Behind him, Ash stepped forward and stood at his side. The princess did not move. She only stared. because in that moment, she realized something terrifying. The most dangerous creature on the planet had chosen a human, and soon, the tribe would pay the price. The night was too quiet, that the human felt it before Ash reacted. The wind stopped. The insects went silent. Even the distant beasts had fled. This was not fear of nature. This was fear of hunters. Ash's body lowered. Its muscles tightened like coiled steel. Its glowing eyes scanned the darkness beyond the shelter. They were surrounded. The human counted shadows instead of shapes. 1, 2, 5, 10, too many to fight. These were not scouts. These were elite warriors. Their armor absorbed light. Their weapons hummed softly, ready to fire. Ash released. A deep, controlled growl that the human placed a firm hand on Ash's neck. "Stay," he whispered. Ash did not like that word. But it obeyed. A voice echoed from the darkness. "Calm. Female. Strong. Human," the voice said. "You are sheltering a forbidden predator. By tribal law, both of you must submit." The princess stepped into the moonlight. She was taller than the human, wrapped in silver armor etched with ancient symbols. Her eyes were sharp, trained, unreadable. Behind her stood 12 warriors, each one known for killing beasts larger than Ash. The human raised his hands slowly. "I won't surrender him," he said simply. A murmur spread among the warriors. The princess studied him closely. He did not shake. He did not beg. He stood like someone who had already accepted death. "You don't understand what you hold," she said. "That creature will destroy everything." The human looked down at Ash. "No," he replied. "It won't." For the first time, the princess hesitated. Then it happened. A sudden blast of energy struck the ground near the shelter. Dust exploded into the air. One of the warriors had fired early. Ash reacted instantly. It did not wait for orders. It moved. Ash vanished into the darkness like a living shadow. A scream followed. Then another. The warriors fired wildly, their weapons lighting up the night. But they were too slow. Ash struck from behind, from above, from nowhere. Armor cracked. Weapons fell. Warriors were thrown aside like broken dolls. The human shouted, "Ash, stop!" Ash paused. Only for a heartbeat. A warrior rushed the human with a blade raised high. Ash turned. In one clean motion, Ash slammed the warrior into the ground and pinned him there, claws inches from his throat. The warrior froze, shaking in fear. Ash looked back at the human. Waiting. The human stepped forward slowly. He placed a hand on Ash's head. "That's enough," he said. Ash withdrew its claws and stepped back. Silence fell. Bodies lay scattered across the ground. Some warriors groaned. Some did not move at all. The princess stood untouched, her weapon still lowered. Her breath was steady, but her hands trembled slightly. She had never seen control like this. The Kreeth did not rule the human. The human ruled. "The Kreeth, why does it obey you?" she asked quietly. The human looked at her. "Because I never treated it like a monster." Ash sat beside him, calm, alert, deadly. The princess turned to her fallen warriors. Shame burned in her chest. This was supposed to be an execution. It had become a lesson. "Withdraw," she commanded. The remaining warriors hesitated. "I said withdraw," she repeated. They obeyed. Before leaving, the princess stopped and looked back at the human one last time. "By our laws," she said, "anyone who defeats the tribe's elite earns judgment by the council." "I don't want your judgment," the human replied. She nodded slowly. "You may not get a choice." High above, hidden from all eyes, ancient sensors awakened. Signals pulsed into deep space. Something powerful had been detected. A bond. A human and a living weapon. Back at the shelter, the human cleaned Ash's wounds. There were few. Ash healed fast. "Too fast. You saved me," the human said softly. Ash leaned closer. pressing its head against his chest. Far away, the princess stood alone on a ridge, staring at the stars. For the first time in her life, she questioned the laws of her people. And for the first time, she feared what would happen next, because the hunters had failed, and soon, the entire tribe would learn a terrifying truth. The human was no longer prey, and Ash was no longer just a creature. Together, they were something the galaxy was not ready for. The tribe did not wait. At dawn, the ground shook with marching feet. Banners of war rose above the hills. Drums echoed across the plain, slow and heavy, like a warning to the world itself. The human watched from the ridge near his shelter. Ash stood beside him, taller now, broader, its claws digging deep into the stone. Its eyes glowed brighter than before. It could feel what was coming. "They're afraid," the human said quietly. Ash released a low sound, half growl, half understanding. The army surrounded the shelter by midday. Hundreds of warriors formed a wide circle. At the front stood the elders and the princess. She wore no helmet today. Her silver armor shone in the harsh light. Her expression was calm, but her eyes held tension. "Human," she called out. "By ancient law, the one who commands a creath must stand trial." "I command nothing," the human replied. "Rash chooses." A ripple of unease spread through the crowd. The princess raised her hand. The warriors held their positions. "Then let the law decide," she said. "If the creath obeys you by choice, its strength becomes your responsibility." Before the human could speak, one elder stepped forward. "This is madness," the elder shouted. "The beast must be tested." Without warning, a chain of energy shot forward and wrapped around the princess. Gasps erupted. She was dragged violently into the open ground, between the armies and the shelter. Her weapon was torn from her hand. She hit the ground hard. The human froze. Ash roared. The sound shook the air. The creath charged forward, but the human shouted, "Stop!" Ash halted inches away, muscles shaking with fury. The elders raised their voices. "If the human controls the beast," one said, "let him prove it. Let the predator choose between blood and command." The princess struggled to rise. Her armor sparked where the chain held her. She looked up at the human, not in fear, but in anger. "This is forbidden," she said sharply. "They are breaking our own law." The human stepped forward slowly. "You want a test?" he asked. "Release her." Laughter echoed from the elders. No one replied. "Order your beast to kneel." The human looked down at Ash. Ash looked back at him. The human shook his head. "I won't." The elders' faces twisted with rage. "Then she dies," one elder declared. The chain tightened around the princess. Before the human could move, Ash did something no creath had ever done. It walked past the human. Past the warriors. And stopped in front of the princess. Slowly, deliberately, Ash lowered its massive body. It knelt. The entire battlefield fell silent. The elders stared in horror. The princess's eyes widened. Ash turned its head toward the human and waited. The message was clear. This was not dominance. This was choice. The human walked forward. Every warrior stepped back instinctively. He reached the princess and cut the chain with his knife. She stood, stunned. By ancient law, any royal protected by a creath owed a life debt. The princess straightened and faced the elders. "You have witnessed it," she said coldly. "The law is fulfilled." The elders said nothing. The princess turned to the human. "By our oldest rule," she said slowly, "my life now stands under your protection." The human shook his head. "I didn't save you to own you." She met his eyes. "That is not how our law works." Behind them, Ash rose to its full height and released a warning roar. The tribe knelt. Not to the princess, but to the human standing beside the predator. And in that moment, the princess understood a terrible truth. She had not been taken by force. She had been bound by law. And from this day forward, She had no choice but to stand with the human. The kneeling did not last long. Fear never stays quiet. By nightfall, whispers spread through the tribe like poison. Warriors spoke in low voices. Elders argued behind closed doors. The sight of a Kreeth kneeling by choice had shaken their world. But instead of learning, they chose denial. Power scared them, and fear turned into hate. The human felt it in air. Ash felt it too. The creature paced near the shelter, claws cutting lines into stone. Its body was larger now, heavier, stronger. Every movement carried danger. Yet it stayed close to the human, always watching him, always waiting. The princess stood a short distance away. She had removed her armor and laid it on the ground. By law, she was no longer free to act on her own. Until the council decided her fate, she was bound to the human's protection. You should leave, she said quietly. They will come again. This time, they won't test you. The human shook his head. Running only proves them right. She studied him. You are not like the others. I was never given a chance to be, he replied. Before she could answer, the ground trembled. Not from marching. From machines. Lights appeared on the far hills. Heavy transport walkers moved forward, crushing rock and soil beneath their metal feet. Mounted weapons glowed with stored energy. The tribe had opened their sealed vaults. They were bringing relic weapons. Ash snarled. The princess turned pale. Those weapons are forbidden. They were built to kill ancient monsters. They're aiming them at us, the human said calmly. A loud voice echoed across the plain. Human! An elder shouted through an amplifier. Release the Kreeth and surrender the princess. This ends now. The princess clenched her fists. They have no right. They think fear is right, the human said. The first shot fired without warning. Blast struck the ground near the shelter, sending fire and dust into the air. Ash moved instantly, placing itself between the human and the explosion. Its hide burned, but it did not fall. The human raised his voice. Stop, you'll destroy everything. The elders did not listen. More shots followed. Ash roared, not in. Rage. In command. The sound rolled across the battlefield like thunder. Smaller beasts fled. Warriors hesitated. Even the machines paused for a moment, their sensors confused. Ash charged. It did not rush blindly. It moved with purpose. Energy blasts struck its body, burning deep wounds. Still, it kept going. It leapt onto the nearest walker, tearing through metal with terrifying ease. The machine collapsed, smoking and broken. The warriors panicked. This is madness. One elder screamed. The princess stepped forward, her voice cutting through the chaos. Stop firing, she shouted. By law, you are attacking a protected bond. Her words meant nothing. Ash destroyed another walker. The human ran after it, shouting its name. Ash, come back! Ash turned. For a brief moment, the battlefield froze. The creature looked at the human. Blood and fire marked its body. Its chest rose and fell heavily. The human stood unarmed. Waiting. Ash walked back to him. Gasps echoed through the army. The human placed both hands on Ash's head. Enough, he said softly. Ash sat. The silence that followed was heavier than any roar. The elders stared in disbelief. Their strongest weapons had failed. Their army stood broken. And the predator had chosen restraint. The princess looked at the human with new eyes. You could have ended them, she said. I don't want their blood, he replied. I want them to see. The council had no choice now. That night, they summoned the ancient lawkeepers. Old texts were opened. Forgotten rules were spoken aloud. Truths buried under pride returned to the light. One truth stood above all. A Kreeth that chooses a protector cannot be owned, controlled, or destroyed. The protector, in return, becomes bound to the fate of the tribe. At sunrise, the elders gathered. Before the human. Their heads lowered. We were wrong, the elders said. The law is clear. The princess stepped forward and stood beside the human. From this moment, she declared, the human and the Kreeth are under royal protection. The crowd murmured. Fear still lived in their hearts, but so did awe. Ash lay beside the human, resting, healing already. Its wounds closed slowly, glowing faintly. High above, unseen satellites recorded everything. Signals were sent into deep space. Something ancient had awakened. A bond that should not exist. A predator that chose mercy. And a human who refused to rule through fear. The tribe thought the conflict was over. They were wrong, because the galaxy was now watching. And soon, others would come not to judge, but to claim what the human had raised. The council chamber was carved deep into the mountain. Stone walls held symbols older than the tribe itself. The air smelled of dust and history. Torches burned with pale blue flame, lighting faces filled with doubt and shame. The human stood at the center. Ash lay beside him, calm but alert. Its massive body filled the chamber with quiet power. Every elder felt it. Every guard kept their distance. The princess stood one step behind the human. By law, she could not stand ahead of him now. The oldest lawkeeper shuffled forward. His skin was thin and pale. His eyes were clouded, but his voice was strong. This law, he said, was written before the tribe built cities, before crowns, before fear ruled us. He touched the stone floor with his staff. Symbols glowed faintly. The Kreeth are not weapons, he continued. They are judges. A murmur spread through the room. The elders exchanged uneasy looks. When a Kreeth chooses a protector, the lawkeeper said, it is testing the heart, not the strength. The human frowned. I didn't ask for this. No protector ever does, the lawkeeper replied. Ash lifted its head. Its eyes glowed brighter as the symbols reacted to its presence. Lawkeeper turned to the princess. By stepping under his protection, he said, you triggered the oldest bond. She nodded once. I understand. An elder slammed his hand on the stone table. This is nonsense. The human is an outsider. He cannot hold authority over us. The lawkeeper looked at him calmly. Authority was never the law's reward. Silence fell. The price, the lawkeeper continued, is duty. He faced the human again. You are now bound to the fate of this tribe, he said. You must protect it from destruction external and internal. The human felt the weight of those words settle on his chest. And if I refuse? He asked. The lawkeeper's voice softened. Then the Kreeth will leave you. The room went still. The human looked down at Ash. Ash looked back. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Ash moved closer and rested its massive head against the human's side. A quiet sound escaped its throat. Not a growl. Not a roar. Acceptance. The elders gasped. The princess closed her eyes briefly, relief and fear mixing inside her. The bond is sealed, the lawkeeper said. Outside the mountain, the sky darkened. Not with clouds. With ships. Alarms began to ring across the city. Guards shouted. Lights flashed. The princess turned sharply. What is happening? A young officer rushed into the chamber. His voice shook. Unknown fleet detected. Not tribal, not local. The human felt Ash tense. They followed the signal, the princess whispered. The satellites. The lawkeeper nodded grimly. The bond awakened ancient watchers. On the main viewing platform, massive shapes filled the sky. Sleek warships hovered silently, their hulls marked with symbols no one recognized. A voice boomed across the city, calm and cold. People of this world, it said, we have come for the Kreeth. Fear exploded through the streets. The elders panicked. Give them the beast. We cannot fight that. The human stepped forward. No, he said. The voice spoke again, now focused on him. Human, it said. You have done well raising it. You will be compensated. Ash growled low. The human placed a hand on its neck. You don't own it, he said. And you don't own this world. There was a pause. Then the voice changed. Then you will be removed. Weapons charged in the sky. The princess turned to the human. If they attack, our city will burn. The human took a slow breath. I won't let that happen, he said. He stepped onto the open platform, Ash following him, every camera, every eye, every sensor focused on them. This creature chose me, the human said loudly. Not for power, not for war. Ash stood tall beside him, a living shadow against the light. It chose restraint, the human continued. If you want it, you go through me. The fleet did not fire. Instead, smaller ships descended. From them emerged figures. Tall and armored, their movements precise and dangerous. The princess whispered, They are not soldiers. The lawkeeper answered quietly, They are collectors. Ash's body began to change. Its markings burned brighter. Its shape shifted stronger, sharper, more ancient. The ground beneath it cracked. The human felt the bond tighten, like a thread, pulling at his heart. Ash, he whispered. Stay with me. Ash released a deep roar, not of rage, but of warning. The collectors stopped, for the first time. Uncertainty passed through their ranks. Because the Kreeth was no longer just a predator. It was awakening. And the human was no longer just its protector. He was its anchor. The princess watched. Realizing the truth too late, the law had not bound her to the human. It bound the human to the galaxy. And what came next would decide the fate of worlds. The sky burned with cold light. The collectors stood in a wide circle around the human. And Ash, their armor was smooth and dark, without marks of rank or emotion. Their weapons were ready, but none of them fired. They were waiting. Ash had changed. Its body was larger than ever, but it did not look wild. The glowing lines across its skin formed clear patterns now, ancient and powerful. The ground beneath. Its claws cracked, yet Ash remained calm, breathing slowly. The human stood in front of it. No armor. No weapon. Only resolve. You don't need to do this, one of the collectors said. Its voice was flat, mechanical. The Kreeth is a galactic asset. It does not belong to you. The human looked up at the towering ships above. It doesn't belong to anyone. A pause followed. Incorrect, the collector replied. Everything belongs to someone stronger. The princess stepped forward, standing beside the human. By law, by choice, she could not step away now. This world is under tribal protection, she said firmly. You have no claim here. The collector turned its head slightly toward her. Your laws do not exist to us. Ash released a low sound. Not anger. Disappointment. The human felt it through the bond. Ash was not afraid. It was tired of being hunted. Tired of being seen as a weapon. The human raised his voice so all could hear. This creature was born to be feared, he said. That's what everyone believed, so they tried to kill it. I didn't. The collectors did not move. I fed it. I healed it. I never ordered it to fight. And when it became strong enough to destroy everything, the human paused, placing a hand on Ash's side. It chose not to. Ash lowered its head slightly, standing beside him, a symbol lit up on the collector's armor. They were communicating. The Kreeth has exceeded predicted limits, one said. The bond is unstable. No, the human replied. It's human. Confusion passed through their ranks. The princess looked at him sharply. What do you mean? It learned what we learn, the human said quietly. Choice. One of the collectors raised its weapon. Step away from the asset. Ash moved, not forward. Between the human and the weapon. Its massive body became a shield. The human did not shout. He did not run. He only said one word. Ash. The creature turned its head slightly toward him. Enough. The human whispered. Ash stopped. The collectors froze. Never in recorded history had a fully awakened Kreeth stopped mid-defense. Silence. Spread across the city, cameras watched, ships hovered. The entire tribe held its breath. The princess felt it, then respect, not fear. Not control, respect. The lawkeeper stepped forward slowly, his staff shaking. You see it now, he said to the collectors. The Creath has chosen a path you cannot calculate. The collectors processed this. Such a bond threatens balance, one replied. The human shook his head. No, it restores it. He stepped forward, standing beside Ash instead of in front. Of it, I won't let you take it, he said. And I won't let this world burn for it either. The collectors hesitated. For the first time, they had no perfect answer. Ash lifted its head and roared, not in rage, in warning. The sound rolled into the sky, echoing through the ships, into space itself. Ancient signals awakened. Old systems reacted. The collector's displays flashed red. Withdrawal recommended, one said. Risk exceeds reward. Slowly, the weapons powered down. The ships began to rise. The lead collector turned to the human one last time. This bond will change the galaxy. Good, the human replied. The fleet vanished into the stars. The sky cleared. The city stood. The tribe lived. Ash relaxed, its glowing lines dimming slightly. It leaned against the human, exhausted but alive. The princess turned to face the people. Warriors, elders, children, all watching in silence. Today, she said, we learned the truth. She looked at the human. Strength without mercy creates monsters, she continued. But mercy can tame even the greatest fear. The elders lowered their heads. By ancient custom, the princess removed her royal crest and placed it on the ground between herself and the human. I stand with him, she said. Not because the law binds me, but because I choose to. The human looked surprised. You don't have to. She met his eyes. I know. Ash released a soft sound and lay down between them. The lawkeeper smiled faintly. The bond is complete. From that day forward, the human was no longer called the weak one. He became known as the anchor, the one who raised a predator and taught it restraint. The princess ruled beside him, not above him, and Ash became a legend, not as a destroyer, but as proof that even the most terrifying creature in the galaxy could choose humanity above all.